Premier League game week review. So we're starting off with City versus Fulham. It was an absolute cracking encounter at the Etihad Stadium. City go 1-0 up through Alvarez. It was a cracking finish. Then the game gets turned on its head with Cancelo getting sent off, which I don't think was a red card. Because we seen the same thing from Trent in the Liverpool game today, but that was not given as a red card, and that wasn't even given as a yellow card. Yet Cancelo got sent off for the exact same thing. And I think the Premier League sometimes is fixed with these officials and things. Even though the score was only 2-1, the game wasn't even close because we were much better than Fulham for the whole game. And I think this is our best performance that I've seen from City in a long time. Even though the score was only 2-1, we dominated throughout. We were so good on the ball. And when we got that second goal, we defended well as well. Haaland's on 25 goals in all competitions already, and it's only the 6th of November. So I think he can get at least 60 goals in all competitions, maybe even more. I think Pereira was lucky not to be sent off for the challenge that he made on Rodri, because then he went on to get the goal for the Fulham goal, and he was lucky to be on the pitch at that point. There's just inconsistencies with the referees, because you see things like what happened with Cancelo, with him getting red carded, and then you see things the next day that is the exact same thing, but it doesn't get given. I think a lot of referees in the Premier League don't actually know what they're doing, because it seems to be a lot of inconsistencies. Because I remember that weekend where McTominay gave away a penalty for a grab in the box, and then the same thing happened with Arsenal and Southampton the next day, and that wasn't given. It's just an inconsistency with the referees, and that's got to change if the Premier League is to be enjoyable for fans, because I think some referees affect the enjoyment of the league. On to the next game. A cracking game at Ellen Road. Leagues 4, Bournemouth 3. Probably the best game of the weekend in terms of entertainment. Leagues give away 3 sloppy goals, but they also scored 4 really good goals. And I think that's a win that's taken a lot of pressure off Jesse Marsch, because before the last 2 games against Liverpool and Bournemouth, he was under a lot of pressure, and now that might have gone a little bit with that win today. No, it's not today, sorry, yesterday, and also the Liverpool game last week. On to the next game. Leicester 2, Everton 0. One thing I have to say about that game is, yes, Leicester were brilliant, but also Everton was shocking, because Pickford was kicking the ball out of play a lot of the time. Harvey Barnes was a real threat, and he caused Everton a lot of problems, and he took his second goal well. Well, not his second goal, but Leicester's second goal, and his goal well, yeah. I think Maddison was very good. He's got to be in that England 26-man squad. And not only in the squad, I think he should actually be in the team instead of Mount. And Tielemans is a player that I think goes under the radar, because he's scoring goals against Everton, and he's scoring goals against Wolves, and no one's really given him the recognition. And I think he's got to go to a club maybe an Arsenal or a Tottenham, or maybe a Liverpool or something, because I feel like he's, no disrespect to Leicester, but I feel like he's too good for Leicester. Next game, Arsenal-Chelsea. Chelsea were woeful, but Arsenal were very good. And I think, even though the scoreline was only 1-0, Arsenal outclassed Chelsea. Because Chelsea were making sloppy passes. I thought Cucurella was shocking. I thought Mount was hardly in the game. I thought Aubameyang was hardly in the game. The only real Chelsea player that was actually in the game and actually trying to do something was Sterling. But because Chelsea weren't using him right, that's why they lost the game in the end. And that's why he hasn't done as well as at Chelsea as he did at City. On to the next game now. Southampton, Newcastle. I thought Newcastle were brilliant, and I feel like Southampton are one of the contenders to go down. Obviously, with the news of Hasenhüttl being sacked. God knows who they're going to get in, because even though I didn't think he was a great manager, I don't think there's many managers out there that Southampton could realistically get that was better than Hasenhüttl. And I think Newcastle are one of the dark horses for the top four this season, because a lot of the original Big Six are struggling this year, because Spurs are playing poor football. Because Spurs are playing like poor football, defensive style, and they tend to only do well in the second half. And that's what I found out with Spurs in recent matches. And I think Newcastle are the dark horses for the top four. One thing I think could affect them is the World Cup, because I think the World Cup could affect a couple of teams' momentum, like, say, Leicester, Newcastle, Arsenal. And it could help teams like City, because we've got Mahrez not going to the World Cup, Haaland not going to the World Cup, potential Phillips and Walker might not be going because of their injuries that they've currently got. And yeah, let's go on to the next game. Spurs 1, Liverpool 2. I thought Liverpool were fantastic in the first half. They were playing some fantastic football, but there's things that happened that could have made the game turn different. Because Perisic hit the post in the first half, then Sessegnon should have had a penalty for Trent barging him in the back, because he gave the Cancelo, a different referee gave the Cancelo one in the City Fulham game, but then he doesn't give that. It's just inconsistencies from the referee, and it's happening on a regular basis now. And people will say that Liverpool were brilliant. I don't actually think they were. They were brilliant for one half of football, but in the second half they weren't actually there. They relied on a lot of luck, because Perisic hit the bar. There was one where Kane flicked it on and no one got a touch on it. And there was also one where Alisson made a couple of good saves. And Spurs in the second half were unlucky not to get a draw, because I think they battered Liverpool in that second half. The only reason why they lost is because it was stupidity from Dyer in the first half for the second goal. The first goal you can't really complain about too much, because it was a quality finish from Salah. But what I found out with Spurs is that they tend to do better in the second half than they do in the first half, and that's affecting them in a lot of games. And the thing is with Liverpool is, they're beating a lot of the top teams, but then when they're playing against a side like, say, Leeds or Forest or Brighton or something, they're dropping points and losing games. So whether Liverpool can get that consistency going now and playing like they did today on a regular basis is yet to be seen. And I hope you have enjoyed this video. I've got a new tripod. I've got a new tripod, by the way. Do you like it? Cause do you think it's a bit like too like high or like anything like that? Leave me feedback in the comments. Thanks for watching. Like, share, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in another video soon. Bye bye.